Hey guys, so today I'm going to be looking at creepy things people noticed while working. So yeah, let's just get right into the video. I used to work at a Boy Scout summer camp. Every week I had to take a big group of campers to a secluded spot for the Wilderness Survival Badge where they had to build a shelter out of sticks, leaves, etc. and sleep in it overnight. The spot was only about half mile from the main camp. Anyways, on this one night, all the campers had made the shelters. We had cooked dinner and were all just sitting around the campfire. It was getting late, maybe 11 o'clock, so I sent all the campers to their shelters for the night and started cleaning up the fire. That's when we heard in the distance what sounded like church bells. They were pretty faint, but myself and my fellow staffers could definitely hear them. They went on for about 30 minutes, ringing every 30 seconds or so. We were all a little creeped out as there were no churches or towns within 20 miles of us. After the bells stopped though, the singing started. It was too faint to hear the words, but it sounded like church choir music, but a lot of people and a lot more enthusiastic. Also, it was almost midnight at this point. The singing went on for well over an hour, sometimes quieting down until we almost couldn't hear it, sometimes getting so loud we thought it was getting closer. All of the campers were super creeped out, but I lied to them, telling them there was a church service going on in camp and that there was nothing to be scared of. Eventually, at almost 1 a.m, the singing stopped. That's so creepy, man. In the middle of nowhere, they hear bells ringing and then people singing. Yo, that's creepy. Oh my gosh. Anyone singing at night is creepy, okay? No thank you. Working late at night on a remote mine site, changing out a switch in a substation on the edge of the pit. Just me and a quiet room full of gently humming transformers. I finish up and head for the door and I see 3 pairs of red eyes staring at me through the window. Nothing else visible, just blackness and 3 sets of red eyes. Turns out goats' eyes reflect red at night and they're like staring in windows. What? What was so interesting about the guy that the goats had to stare? I'll be mad for being interesting. I used to be a delivery driver, which doesn't sound very remote because it isn't. However, I did have to deliver to some pretty remote places. One time I delivered to a trailer park just barely inside a designated delivery zone and it was very dark and poorly lit. I leave my car running and keep the headlights and inside lights on to go deliver the pizza. Upon returning to my car, I sit down in the driver's seat and look up to see a creepy old man standing less than 3 feet from my side of the car. He was just staring. It was the equivalent of a jump scare. I just started driving forwards, had to do a U-turn to get out of the park. When I turned around, the man was standing in the middle of the road. So I freaked out for a second before speeding around him, only to watch him attempt to chase my car out of the trailer park. I put in my 2 weeks after that. Oh my gosh, what the heck? What the heck? What the heck? This is like a horror game, you know? You know when you're playing and suddenly some guy just pops up in the middle? What? And then they start chasing you? Oh, that's so scary, man. This actually happens in real life. What? Maybe he thought that trailer park was his because he's a bit crazy, you know? Oof. I also used to be a delivery driver, but for a supermarket in the UK. A lot of our customers were in the middle of nowhere, and my last delivery of the night was a new customer I'd never been to before. I was already running late from all my previous deliveries, and I was still trying to find this house at 10:30 p.m, even though my shift was supposed to finish at 10 p.m. I'm driving around the narrowest of country roads with nothing surrounding me but dark fields and hedgerows, looking for anything that might be a driveway. I hadn't seen another car or person for miles. Then, all of a sudden, I hear a loud thud on the side of my van, like something was thrown at it. No trees or anything else around for something to fall from, and I remember it specifically hitting the side. I looked in my mirrors and out the window, but there was nothing around me. Then, it happened again. Another thud on the side of my van. I drove back to the supermarket so fast and told my manager that I couldn't find the place. I had spent 30 minutes looking, to be fair. There was no house where the listed address postcode took me. Oh, I feel like they were trying to get him to get out to look at the van, you know? Oh my gosh, that's scary. Maybe the people were trying to throw rocks so the person would go outside and then they would rob him. That's creepy, man. So creepy. This reminds me of like when someone tried to like tie clothes around the windshield wiper so the person in the car would get out and then take it off, but then they get robbed after or something. Scary. I used to do agricultural work, alone in a field for 10 hours a day kind of thing. The pure amount of times I heard the sound of running and snapped up to see literally nothing there was horrific. I was convinced it was surely animals between the trees for a while, but the weirdest moment was when I heard it loudly from a row of trees next to me, and immediately ducked under to see the feet of whatever animal was running by, and there was absolutely nothing. I remember trying to stay calm and walking really fast to the toilet block, and sitting in there for a good long while before I came back. I never thought I'd be so freaked out in the daytime, but there wasn't a soul nearby for quite a way, and it really amped up my imagination. Man, I wouldn't want to be alone in the wild for long either. I grew up on a farm and in high school used to mess with my friends by hiding and making them find me. One night my friend was over and we were waiting on this other guy. We see him pull up, so we take off running to hide. It's funny because they have to wander around somewhere they're unfamiliar with, or go ask my parents and be told too bad you have to find her. It's like forced hide and seek. Anyway, this one night I saw my friend hide in one building while I ran for the trees. I was hiding under some bushes and heard breathing, like human breathing. There were no animals around. It creeped me out so bad I ran out of hiding to greet my friend. I felt so uncomfortable for the rest of the night. Oh my gosh, they were hiding in the place that person was hiding, you know. That is so creepy because it clearly wasn't their friend because they saw their friend hide in that building. And then they go hide in the bushes and then they hear someone else next to them. No. Oh my gosh. Can you just imagine? You're like, okay, I'm gonna hide. And then you hide in the bushes. And then you turn and someone else is in the bushes. I worked in a store once in a really small town that had no one. A customer every hour or so. Shifts all alone too. Anyway, it's a dark evening when I hear the door open. I look up and see the back of a man as he begins walking down the first aisle towards the tin foods, and he appears to be talking to someone on the phone. I think nothing of it. All of a sudden, I get this intense smell of soil and earth. I look up and the man's approaching the counter and he's wearing some kind of overalls and his face and long grey hair and body is just covered in dirt. That's when I notice he isn't on the phone at all and is just talking to himself in this absolutely bizarre tone. He sounded like a cartoon elf or something. He's just sort of murmuring and doing this really weird hee-hee sort of laugh. I've never heard anyone actually laugh hee-hee, you know, you type it, you're like hee-hee-hee-hee, right? But you don't actually laugh that out loud. Oh, that's so funny. I'm just frozen solid. As he stood at the counter, a policeman storms through the door. He asks if I'm okay, to which I don't respond because I'm just in a complete state of what is happening. Tells the man to come outside, to which he starts murmuring gibberish and saying the words legal over and over again. They come, grab the man and put him in the back of the police car, and that's the last I ever heard of it. I have no idea who he was and what was going on, but I have never been so afraid of another person before. You know when you just sense a bad situation. So grateful the police showed up when they did. How come the police didn't tell him what happened, right? Shouldn't they at least like tell him, you know? You know what I mean? They just took the man and just left, that's it. Okay. At least they saved him though, right? Geez, that is scary. Oh, what the heck? Now I'm just thinking of the man, you know, he's just looking at the poor cashier like... Some friends and I were fishing a small pond just after dark for catfish. We started to hear sounds coming off the water like something throwing softball-sized rocks, but they were coming from all over the pond. We thought someone was messing with us and we called out a few times for them to stop, but we eventually got freaked out and left. Cut to a few years later, I'm fishing a different pond and hear the same sound. Turns out it was a beaver slapping its tail on the water to drive me from its territory. When beavers become problems in rivers, they relocate them to ponds in town. It was a beaver hitting its tail on mortar. That's so cute though. Well, that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Tell me in the comments down below what your thoughts are. And as always, thanks for watching. Hope you guys liked it. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.